Good morning, it's the 21st of December, 2023, and you're listening to Hot Topic and Fresh News. We have pressing news making headlines today. A federal judge has put a hold on a California law set to take effect on January 1st that would have banned carrying firearms in most public places. The judge ruled that the law violates the Second Amendment of the U.S. Constitution and infringes on people's ability to defend themselves. The law would have prohibited carrying concealed guns in 26 locations, including public parks, churches, banks, and even zoos, regardless of whether the person possesses a permit for a concealed weapon. The California Rifle and Pistol Association, the group that sued to block the law, celebrates this as a victory. On the contrary, Governor Newsom and California Attorney General Rob Bonta expressed strong disappointment with this ruling and have announced plans to appeal this decision, arguing that it endangers communities by allowing more guns in sensitive public areas. This decision follows a previous U.S. Supreme Court ruling that stated gun laws' constitutionality should be evaluated based on their consistency with the nation's historical tradition of firearm regulation. The judge in this case, Cormac Carney, is a former Orange County Superior Court judge appointed to the federal bench by President George W. Bush in 2003. Stay tuned as we delve into a detailed analysis of these developments later in the show. Good morning, everyone. As always, this is your host, Emily, bringing you the latest news on Hot Topic and Fresh News.
And joining you all today is me, David Newstock.
Remember to subscribe and turn on those notifications so you don't miss a beat with us on Hot Topic and Fresh News. Now, without further ado, straight to the hot topics. Continuing with our discussion, it's interesting to note that the blocked law underlined carrying concealed weapons in 26 places, including public parks, playgrounds, churches, even banks and zoos. This ban was all-encompassing, affecting people regardless of whether they held a permit for a concealed weapon or not. The sole exception was privately owned businesses that decided to permit firearms on their premises. This law was seen as an overhaul of the state's rules for concealed carry permits, largely influenced by the U.S. Supreme Court's decision in New York State Rifle and Pistol Association v. Brune.
So essentially, this law would have virtually shut down the ability to carry concealed weapons across town, which is indeed a substantial change. I'd be interested to hear more about the responses to this ruling, specifically from the people directly impacted.
The California Rifle and Pistol Association, who sued to block the law, are of course celebrating this ruling as a victory. The president of the association, Chuck Michel, argued that the judge's decision would ultimately make Californians safer, as criminals are deterred when law-abiding citizens can defend themselves. On the contrary, Governor Newsom has expressed disappointment with the decision and has vowed to continue pushing for stricter gun measures. He called the ruling repugnant, arguing that it greenlights the proliferation of guns in places that should ideally be safe for everyone, including hospitals, libraries, and children's playgrounds.
Quite the clash of viewpoints there. I suppose it's a matter of perspective, isn't it? Whether one sees this as a victory for personal defense or a threat to public safety.
On a related note, California Attorney General Rob Bonta has expressed his disagreement with the ruling. He's planning to appeal it, arguing that more guns in more sensitive places make the public less safe. He also believes that the court got this wrong and that Senate Bill 2 adheres to the guidelines set by the Supreme Court in Brune.
So there's a fight ahead.
Indeed. To add to that, Governor Newsom has positioned himself as a national leader on gun control. He's called for and signed a variety of bills, including measures targeting untraceable ghost guns, the marketing of firearms to children, and allowing people to bring lawsuits over gun violence. He's someone who's currently being increasingly eyed as a potential presidential candidate. This ongoing gun control debate will certainly shape part of his political narrative.
Certainly a situation worth keeping an eye on. Do we know if there's a timeline for the appeal?
There's no set timeline yet, but we'll be sure to keep our listeners updated as more information becomes available. This is definitely a debate that will continue to evolve and shape national conversations around gun control. I want to extend a big thank you to all of our listeners for joining us today on Hot Topic and Fresh News. We've had a robust discussion on the recent ruling in California regarding gun laws, and your presence has made it all the more meaningful. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and activate those notifications so you never miss any of our episodes. Your support truly means the world to us. Do share our content with your friends, your discussion groups, across your social media platforms, or even in your next family get-together. If you enjoyed our conversation, we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments.
Hey, and remember, our episodes are like pizza. Great anytime, anywhere. We're live every day, so make sure you're keeping up with us. And keep an eye out. We have some truly interesting discussions coming your way.
We're hugely grateful for your time and attention. We can't wait to have you back with us for the next episode. Until then, always remember, stay in the loop, keep your eyes on the news. Our channel's content will amuse.